Hey guys, Monochrome here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Genuinely good to have you. I'm trying something new on my channel. I have noticed that even with action films or action movies, even old exploitation films, some of them do contain very important real-world lessons as they apply to self-defense. So that's what I'm going to cover today in this video. If it proves to be popular, maybe I'll do more of these. But for now, you can find this video under my self-defense playlist. So let's just get right into it. This is actually an exploitation film from 1975. It's called Switchblade Sisters. And I'll just say it, it's definitely worth watching just for the entertainment value. Basically, it's a technically gang war. On one side, you have a female gang that's attached to a male gang, and there's a huge rivalry with another gang, mostly male gang, possibly all male gang. Yeah, it's been a little while since I've seen the film, but there is one scene in particular that I will never forget. And it definitely applies to real-world self-defense. It's the scene where a middle-aged woman gets really ticked off at the male gang leader, and he's alone. The woman calls over her husband to deal with him. Husband walks up to the young gang leader, looks at him for a second, and then he turns to his wife and says, "Are you kidding me? Come on, I gotta live in this neighborhood." And then he just turns around and walks away. And the young gang leader, he doesn't cheer, he doesn't smile ear to ear. He just, he understands. Okay, this guy, all right, maybe he would have given me a really good physical fight, one-on-one, maybe. But he doesn't want anything to do with me because he knows my reputation. All right, that's good enough for me. And that's pretty much the end of the scene. And right there is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. It highlights something extremely important when it comes to self-defense. Basically, don't start trouble in your own neighborhood. Sounds like a simple thing, but so many individuals in real life get this wrong. You have to live in that neighborhood. Maybe it's not the best neighborhood in the world, but you've got to live there. Everyone around you, they know that you live in the neighborhood. Heck, they probably even know that, oh, that's his car parked down the street. That's what he drives. Yeah, in some neighborhoods, everyone knows everyone else, or they know of everyone else. So, yeah, not a good idea to start trouble in your own neighborhood. it's best to just mind your business and, yeah, don't start trouble. I mean, I'll give you guys a perfect example, and it's also probably the worst example of this, because a certain individual decided to start trouble in the neighborhood. I'm talking about George Zimmerman. Yep, yeah. When you take a look at the facts of that case, it's clear that if Zimmerman had just minded his own business and not driven up in his car to Trayvon Martin, that entire tragedy never would have taken place. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the details of that case, you know that George Zimmerman was part of the neighborhood watch. And apparently, he watched 17-year-old Trayvon Martin walking down the street, drinking a soda, and for some bizarre reason, most likely the color of the young man's skin, caused Mr. Zimmerman to say to himself, "Hey, I need to find out what's going on." So he pulled up to Trayvon Martin in his car. Martin was on foot, and he just said to him, "Hey, who are you? What are you doing here?" Now, the thing I need to point out is that it is not illegal to walk up to another person and just start asking them questions. It's not. There's no place in America where it is illegal for one civilian to walk up to another civilian and just start asking them questions. It's not illegal. But from a practicality point of view, if you walk up to someone and start aggressively asking them questions, "Hey, who are you? What are you doing in this neighborhood?" obviously, they're not going to respond very well to you. And according to Zimmerman's lawyers, Martin got very angry, very upset, and their client felt like his life was in danger. And so he pulled out his Keltec PF9 subcompact 9mm pistol and shot Trayvon Martin to death with it. And as all of you know, Mr. Zimmerman was eventually acquitted, which is absolutely ridiculous. So here's the issue. Mr. Zimmerman decided to start trouble in his own neighborhood. One, he was part of the neighborhood watch. Again, neighborhood watch, not neighborhood confrontation, not neighborhood stick your nose into everyone's business. Neighborhood watch, meaning you watch. If you see something suspicious, let the other members of the neighborhood watch know that you're seeing something suspicious, or call the local police department. And let's be honest, a young black man walking down the street drinking a soda sure as hell isn't suspicious. Maybe Mr. Zimmerman's lawyers wanted everyone to think there were no black people in that neighborhood. Well, yes, there are, because Trayvon Martin was in that neighborhood visiting his father, who lived in that neighborhood. Second issue. Again, one citizen can ask another citizen any question they want. But why would you roll up on someone who's not doing anything wrong, but you think they're acting suspicious? My opinion, it's rather obvious that Mr. Zimmerman was and probably still is a freaking racist. To me, it's blatantly clear, but that's just my opinion based on having checked out the facts of this case. Third thing, you have a racist trying to intimidate a young black man who apparently argued back and refused to be intimidated or to back down. And the racist got scared, pulled out a gun, and shot him. Plain and simple. The thing is, Zimmerman had another option. He was in his car. Trayvon Martin was on foot. If Zimmerman genuinely felt scared, he should have just stepped on the gas pedal and accelerated out of there. Done. Disengage. Potential life-threatening situation, which it wasn't, is now over. So either Zimmerman gunned this young man down out of hatred and racism, or Zimmerman genuinely felt scared, and for some bizarre reason, instead of stepping on the gas pedal and getting out of there, pulled out his gun and shot him. Again, the best thing you can do in any self-defense encounter, if you have the ability to disengage and bring the encounter to an instant end, take it. Absolutely take it. Again, all he had to do was step on the gas pedal and drive away. That's all he had to do. Trayvon Martin was on foot. What is he going to do? Chase after him? And this brings up another reason why it's important to not start trouble in your neighborhood and mind your own business. Or if you are part of a neighborhood watch, that's great. Watch, write down what's happening. If it's an obvious situation where the police are needed, then call the police. Again, neighborhood watch, not neighborhood confrontation. So the next point, because of Mr. Zimmerman's actions, in America, you're going to get criminally charged until a judge and jury can determine whether or not your case is legitimate self-defense. Or, I guess in this case, whether or not a group of idiots in the jury box buys your freaking story that you were afraid for your life. Come on. Trayvon Martin, he didn't have a gun. When you shoot an unarmed man, that's not self-defense. That's never self-defense. But for some bizarre reason, the jury bought it. However, that's not my point. My point is that normally, even a blatant self-defense case, which this one definitely wasn't, you should expect to get arrested. you should expect to have a criminal trial, and you should expect to get sued by any surviving family members in civil court. That's just what you should expect in America if you commit an act of self-defense or one that you claim is an act of self-defense. Now, the problem with that is a good attorney is going to be expensive. Zimmerman definitely got donations anonymously to help with his defense. Yeah, kind of obvious where that came from. But again, it's important to keep in mind that when you go through the legal process, it is a obscenely expensive thing. I'm not even talking about if a jury in a civil case awards money damages to the surviving family members of your victim. No, I mean just a criminal case in which no money is exchanged between the parties. In America, it is obscenely expensive to defend yourself in criminal court. It really is. At least if you want a good attorney who knows what the hell they're doing. It's something no one talks about. I mean, the average cost of a new car in America as of today is $40,000. That's average. New car purchase in America today, $40,000. You are going to pay a hell of a lot more than $40,000 for even a good basic defense in criminal court if you're actually forced to physically defend yourself, especially with a firearm. Now, none of that would have happened. Well, I guess you could say none of that would have happened if Zimmerman wasn't a freaking racist. But none of that would have happened if Zimmerman had just made a note of seeing the young black man walking down the street and then moved on. There is no reason to confront someone who you think is up to no good or who you think might be dangerous. Honestly, I think Zimmerman confronted him because he just wanted to try to intimidate a young black man, and he thought he could do so. But even if you believe the story that it was a neighborhood watch thing, one of the first things the cops tell you is don't confront people whom you think could be dangerous. It's not called neighborhood confrontation. It's neighborhood watch. If Zimmerman had just minded his own damn business, if he had been careful not to start trouble in his own neighborhood, he would have been fine. Trayvon Martin would still be alive, and Zimmerman would have never ended up in criminal court or civil court. Plain and simple. And that is a lesson that was shown in the 1975 film Switchblade Sisters. Again, just for the entertainment value, the film is worth viewing. I will say this, it's kind of messed up what happened to Patch at the end of the film, but yeah, she did kind of bring it on herself, and she did kind of deserve it. The film, definitely worth viewing. The lesson learned, definitely worth remembering. Don't start trouble in your own neighborhood. Don't initiate trouble in your own neighborhood. And if you are part of a neighborhood watch, for heaven's sakes, don't confront someone who you think might be dangerous. All right, guys, that's it for today. Please stay safe out there. Like I said, this is something new on my channel. Maybe I'll do more of these, maybe not. We'll see. But please stay safe out there. I'll see you guys soon.